by Roman's beauty. She made a gagging noise that caused his eyes to move to his reflection in the car window, brow creased in concern. "Too much?" he asked, flicking a strand of hair off his forehead. "You aren't going to find any admirers in an empty museum at 1 a.m, said Dorothy. But there will be security cameras. And didn't you say something about a police composite sketch?" "You want to look your best for a police composite sketch?" "In the movie version of this heist, I'd like to be played by Clark Gable." Despite herself, Dorothy grinned. No one could accuse her partner of false modesty. "You have your dates mixed up," she said, throwing her car door open. "Clark Gable died in 1960. This is 1990. She hesitated, pretending to think. "Maybe Ben Affleck?" Roman shot her a murderous look. They climbed out of the car and crossed the street, stopping outside a wrought iron gate. A brick building hovered just beyond the trees, barely more than a dark shadow under the dim yellow streetlights. "The Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum," Dorothy thought, looking up. She frowned. In the photographs it had seemed so much bigger. A black box hung from the brick wall outside the gate. A year ago, Dorothy wouldn't have known that it was an intercom, but now she leaned in close, pressing down the button with her thumb. Static, and then a man's voice. "Can I help you?" "We're with the Boston police," Roman said. "We're here to check on a disturbance in the courtyard." He flashed a small gold badge at the camera that Dorothy had told him would be hanging above the fence. The security guard on the other side would see exactly what she wanted him to see. 2 Boston cops, dressed in stiff blue uniforms. The buzzer emitted an angry growl that told her the security fence had been unlocked. A familiar, tingly feeling of déjà vu worked its way through Dorothy's shoulders. She had a composite sketch of the thieves taped to her mirror back at the Fairmount. It was rough, but she was convinced that the smaller of the 2 thieves was her, dressed as a man. She'd read every news article that existed about this heist, and each one had said the same thing. The thieves were never caught. Which made sense. If the thieves were time travelers, they never could be caught. Silently, they moved down the sidewalk and toward the museum's entrance. Dorothy glanced at the twin stone panthers that guarded the front doors and felt a thrill of excitement. She'd seen them in photographs before, but now they were here in front of her. She'd never get over that rush when the things she'd seen in newspaper articles suddenly became real. They pushed open the front door without knocking and walked inside, footsteps echoing against the marble. An older African-American security guard stood behind his desk. He was tall, with broad shoulders and a beard shot through with white. His eyes narrowed at them, suspicious. This would be Aaron Roberts, then. I'm really not supposed to let people in here," Roberts said, blinking. "But you said you're with the police?" Roman nodded. "You did the right thing, son. We had reports of a disturbance in your courtyard, and we need to check it out. Could you—" Roman hesitated, tilting his head. "Well, now that's strange." The security guard twitched, and then glanced over his shoulder, like he was expecting someone to appear out of the shadows behind him. "I'm sorry, what's strange? You look an awful lot like a man we've been searching for." Now Roman was rubbing his chin. He jerked his head toward the guard, eyes on Dorothy. "Doesn't he look like Dean Morris?" The name was made up. No one had mentioned it in any of the reports or books or articles, so they'd plucked it out of thin air. The security guard blinked. "Morris," he murmured. "Would you mind stepping out from behind that desk and showing me some ID?" Roman said. This was pivotal. There was a button beneath the desk that sounded the security alarm. It was the only one in the building. Once they got the guard away from that button, they were safe. Aaron Roberts stepped out from behind his desk. "I'm not this Dean guy," he said, pulling out his wallet. He tugged his driver's license loose and flashed it at Roman. "See?" Roman barely glanced at it. "Sure you're not." He unclipped a pair of heavy-duty handcuffs from his belt, nodding at the wall.